So for the month of May, I was supposed to go to London and Madrid and London and Madrid. And that would be a great month. Most people would be happy to go to those two cities and call it a month. Especially flying a wide body, right? But I wanted something better. And I'm a gambler. I love to gamble. So I did gamble with my schedule and I got better in my personal opinion. Hello, my name is Darren. I am a dad. I am an airline pilot. I am a husband of a scientist. And today I'm going to talk about my month of May, what I was awarded from my company versus what I actually did for the whole month. Now, a few terms out of the way, what is a line holder? It is a pilot or a crew member, could be a flight attendant as well, that knows their exact schedule. So they know what days they're working, what flights they're working, their overnights, they know their days off, they know everything about their schedule is nice and clear and concise. On the flip side, there's their reserve. Reserves, all they know are what days they have to be available to the company. They have no idea if they're going to end up in Tokyo, in London, South America. It can be anywhere in the world. So being a line holder can be better than being on reserve. It depends on what you're looking for in life. I prefer being a line holder versus reserve for most months. But for the bid month of May, that went from May 2nd all the way to June 1st. That's how we do it here. It is what it is. Now, this is all back in April. So on the 8th of every single month, I begin my bidding process for the next calendar month. And I close on the 13th, I get my award on the 16th. For the bid month of May, I was at 73% seniority, meaning 73% of the pilots were senior to me, 27% were junior to me. And seniority is simple. It's just everybody who was senior to me was hired before me. That's it. They haven't been on the airplane longer than me. They were just hired before me. That's all seniority is. And being so junior, I'm a bottom end line holder. So I get what's left over. I kind of put my hand up and say, hey guys, what do y'all not want to do? Because I'll take it. And so I've explained this in the past, but I have 7 different scenarios I gave to the company for my schedule. They went to the first 4 scenarios, my first 4 layers, and they kind of laughed at me and said, yeah, that's funny, Darren. My layer 5 was wide open. Like, yeah, I just want to fly. So that's how I ended up with what you see on the calendar here. I was supposed to go to London, May 3rd through 5th as a relief pilot. Supposed to go to Madrid, May 6th through 8th. Again, those are back-to-back trips. Not ideal, but again, I'm by my line holder. So that's 6 days working in a row. But Madrid, May 6th through 8th as a relief pilot. They have several days off. Then I was supposed to go to London as a relief pilot, May 16th through 18th. And I was supposed to go to Madrid, May 23rd to 25th as a first officer. And the total credit awarded to me was 78 hours and 35 minutes. And I had 19 days off. Again, that is a fantastic schedule. Having 19 days off, being paid 78 hours and 35 minutes. Dude, well, who could ask for more? Well, me, because I like to gamble in life. I like variety. So I like to take risk with my schedule. So instead, I traded around a lot. So here's what I actually did for the month. So on May 2nd, I made a video about this one. I was sitting at home playing video games and a trip to Tulsa, Oklahoma opened up. It was storming that day. And it was a simple, head to Tulsa, Oklahoma and fly a 777 back empty. Didn't have to put a uniform on. The day was full of delays, lots of delays. I started the day at 9:40 in the morning. I finished at 6:16 p.m. Tulsa, Oklahoma is a 1-hour flight. Long day. Because of all the delays, I was credited 7 hours and 21 minutes worth of pay credit. Plus, I was paid an additional 3 hours and 40 minutes worth of premium pay. This was a time and a half day. They needed somebody up on that airplane. They couldn't find anybody. They paid me time and a half. And that's how they do it here. The base is credit. The second is pay. It's just how they divide it up. And then I had a day off. And then I went to Tokyo Narita as a relief pilot. This trip started at 10:45 in the morning. Got done at 3:48 in the afternoon on day 3. I was total credit of 25 hours and 6 minutes. And I was away from base for 53 hours and 55 minutes. And I mentioned the time away from base so you get an idea, how long are these trips actually lasting? Because it's quite different going to Asia versus going to Europe. My next trip was a London trip. Again, I don't like London. I like London City, the airport and security. I don't care for it. That's why I kind of avoid it. But this is a IOE trip. I made a video about this one as well. I had a 2:10 p.m. start on day 1. I finished at 11:22 on day 3. I was credited with 19 hours and 43 minutes, and I was away from home, or from base, sorry, for 46 hours and 50 minutes. I was away from home for less than 2 full days on a 3-day trip. So even though it's a 3-day trip, my time away from base wasn't that long. I then had a few days off, and I went to Barcelona. Also a relief pilot trip, also an IOE trip. Three of my 4 trips this month were IOE trips, meaning there was 3 pilots and a check airman on board, training somebody. But Barcelona, that video hasn't been put out yet. Had a 4:25 p.m. start. I finished at 3:58 in the afternoon. This one was a little bit further than London, so it was 20 hours and 43 minutes worth of credit pay, and I was away from home for 48 hours and 20 minutes. So it's a little bit further away than London is, and a little bit longer time away from base. I do like Barcelona though. That's my new favorite city in Europe. After that, I had about a week off, about 5 days off, sorry. Then on May 24th, I got lucky with another Tulsa fly, deadhead there and fly back. This one was easier, no weather involved, minor issues. But I started at 7:50 in the morning. I was at 12:46 in the afternoon. I was credited at 5 hours and 15 minutes, which is the minimum credit per day. So, the flight there was an hour, flight out back's an hour. That's 2 hours. But they give us a minimum of 5 hours and 15 minutes worth of credit per day to do anything. And then I was paid an additional half of that credit. So my premium pay for that was 2 hours and 37 minutes. So that was a pretty good day, being paid, almost 8 hours for just a 2-hour flight. Deadhead there and fly back. Then the very next day, I was supposed to go to Narita the next day. Now, I was displaced for IOE. There's a short video about that one as well, meaning the company needed my trip to train a new pilot. And so to make sure I made whole, they paid me what I would have been paid for that trip, which was 25 hours. Pretty good. And instead, I picked up a London relief pilot trip. I didn't want to go to London, but I needed to fill a hole, and I need to be home later on in the week. So I could have stayed home, absolutely, but I was able to double dip and get paid for both. So why not? But that trip started at 2:20 afternoon, finished at 12:20 on day 3. Also, again, it was an IOE trip for a new pilot. It was 19 hours and 25 minutes worth of credit, and I was away from home for, again, 46 hours and 50 minutes. So those were my trips for the month. I went from having 19 days off to having just 17 days off, which is still a lot off. I mean, the normal office worker gets, 8 days off a month? So I had double of that as a pilot. It's a pretty flexible gig I have. Now, as far as the actual pay, my pay is very complicated. And I'm just trying to make it simple, but here it is. So my hourly pay, not excluding the holiday and the premium pay, was $37, $321.38. Then the holiday, because I worked on Memorial Day, and then all the premium pay for the 2 Tulsa trips was $3,319.49. My international pay, I'm only paid that when I'm actually, keep it simple, on an actual international trip. So even though Oklahoma is a very weird state, they are considered domestic. Ha ha ha. So I was paid $424.74 for my international pay. Then my per diem. So my per diem starts an hour before my first leg of the first day of the trip. So like when I went to London, my per diem started at 2:20 in the afternoon. It stopped at 12:20 on day 3. So the entire time I'm flying on the hotel bus, sleeping in the hotel, all that stuff, I'm being paid my per diem. I think it's $4.07 per hour. My per diem totaled $848.59. Now I am paid per diem as well for my 2 Tulsa trips, but that's paid at a different rate because I came back and left the same day. And then my company gives me an amount equal to 17% of my base pay into my 401k. So they're going to put it an amount equal to $6,344.64 of free money into my 401k. So it was a very good month. It's not my best month I ever had was back in December of last year, but it's still a great month overall, and I am not complaining. Going forward, though, I'm betting for June it'll be more normal. I'm on short call reserve, and I'm betting I'll have just either 76 hours of straight short haul pay, or maybe one extra trip. But that was my month of May. It was a good month. Again, I really enjoyed Barcelona. I enjoyed Narita. And London was just London. If you have a question, drop it in the comments. I make videos once, twice a week, mostly once a week, about aviation. Sometimes it's a trip. Sometimes just me talking to the camera, sitting in front of this fake airplane. Okay, my name is Darren. I'm a dad. I'm an airline pilot. I'm a husband of a scientist. Like, comment, subscribe. Have a great day. And as always, thank you for stopping by.